Me. So we're gonna start off. Item number one, Kinder Bueno. The Kinder Buenos will be going to 49. Hey! Brilliant. And we're gonna steadily move along. I have this rocket pen. Yeah. Let's hear some hype for the rocket pen. Rocket pen is going to number 10. Yeah. There we go. There we go. What? Huh? Sorry about kids. They're watermelon flavored. Okay. Watermelon Sour Patch Kids, 35. Oh, it's ours. Okay, so if somebody I don't know wants to win one, that'd be awesome. We've got Haribo's. 51? Oh, come on up, come on up. Everybody give a big round of applause. We got these Haribo's. There you are. Okay. Next, we have this Hulk punching pan. Ooh, look at that. And it's going to 22. Gabriel, come on up, Gabriel. Let's get this Hulk pen to you. And then next we've got whatever. It is a straw lollipop. Who can find those two things? It's 42. It's
no. What I got?
It's 5. Yeah! Love it, love it, love it. Okay, moving steadily along, we got Starbursts. Number 2. Oh, bro, Ebony, there you are. What? I should do everything from now on. That was awesome. Okay, I have a big collectible. Premiums and stickers. Okay, okay. Number 8. Yeah, there we are. Wow, pop, mega, strawberry, cherry, orange. And it's number, we have that one, 28. Yes, sir. There we go. Okay, okay. I've got this pot of candy floss. It's got one of your names on it. And it is number 52. Brilliant. Everything. Thank you so much. Good. Okay. Magic stars. That's right, please. The magic stars are going to number 13. And last, but by no means least, we have these Scooby-Doo branded chocolate coins. And they are going to number 37. Thank you very much. That's our wrap up for tonight.
Right, guys. So, before the excitement of the elections, and I'll pass over to Rory in a second, and the excitement of the raffle died down, I've got some correspondence on behalf of Jack Simmons. It's a tradition that you hear this at every single JCR meeting, so buckle up, you'll hear it so many times this year. But there is a comedy night on called Dweebs, which is run by a Cuts student. Jack Simmons got a long legacy in the place, and basically what it is a basically local comedy night. Also, they have queer comics, and they've just upgraded to using assembly room theatres, so it's bigger and better than ever. And it will be on the 27th of September, no, October. If you want to get your tickets, go and follow Dweebs on Instagram and Facebook. We will not be in the prep social so make sure you're getting those. It is a great, obviously, supporting Cuts students and what they're doing externally to Cuts as well. But just make sure you're getting your tickets. It's a great opportunity to see some local and queer comics as well. Right, that's the correspondence on Pat Jackson over and out. I like that. Rory, come on.
Sorry, I will apologise.
Election driving.
I will apologise in advance because I am very ill and have to teach tomorrow. So I'm massively sleep deprived. Thanks, but nice to see my tables listening. Matilda. Thank you. So we've got a lot of elections tonight, so we're going to fly through them. Our first elections are method ones. If you don't know what method one is, it's exec roles and a few other positions. These elections are done online. Voting will be open for them at some point, hopefully in 24 hours time, provided the software works. Each candidate or each election will be held. We'll get the candidates up. One of them will leave the room if there's multiple. If not, then they'll not leave the room. It's not multiple. They will give a host, and then you will get an opportunity to ask, I think we said 2 targeted questions, and then and then once all the candidates come back in, we'll get 3 general questions. So without further ado, we'll speed on to our first election, which is for Dev Officer. So we have 2 candidates running for Dev Officer. So we have Rosie and reopen the nominations. So Rosie, you'll get 3 minutes host, and at 2.5 minutes, I'll knock the table.
Thank you. I am actually just going to go get some water because I've also got precious flu. I love my children dearly, but also that wasn't kind.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 minutes. I'll knock 2 minutes back. Anyhow. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Rosie. Like I said, I've currently got precious flu, so please bear with me. And I'm running to become your development officer for CUS. So a little bit about me. I'm a second-year Spanish and Italian student. I like house music, coffee shops, and thrifting. I'm a proud member of CUS Baking Stock. I was recently awarded the title of Chief Wit, which I wear as a badge of honour. So thank you, Lucy. If you haven't seen me before, it's probably because this is actually my first ever time attending a JCR meeting, but please bear with me. Don't let that put you off. I can explain, I swear. So, after spending most of my first year in the company of the mysterious one, Mr. James Allen, I realised that it was probably time to expand my horizons, and that I wanted to get involved with the JCR, so I applied to be a grad. It was a great, if not intense, experience that dropped me straight into the deep end of all things JCR, and it offered me a helpful insight into what the JCR actually is, how it's run, and its importance within CUS. So here I am. I'm running to be your development officer because I believe I've got the right experience, lots of motivation, and willingness to put in the effort. I would always try my hardest to be approachable and passionate if I was voted into the role. I've got a previous experience as a fundraiser, contacting an alumni community, acquiring donations, but also speaking to them to help maintain a constructive relationship. And as development officer, I think I could confidently engage with alumni to build a really strong link between alumni and the JCR, which would be really useful when organising career events, Q&As, or connecting students and graduates on a personal level for specific development help. I also have my own ideas that I want to bring to the role, mainly the creation of a careers handbook. So there's an information centre for all things careers development related, including opportunities for volunteering, graduate schemes, internships, all the rest of it. I think this would be really useful as a point of guidance, as most people deciding what they want to do after graduation is a massive decision. It can be really stressful. It can make you feel quite lost or like you don't know where to start. So I think having a detailed handbook so that everything you could want to know is right there and available offers a really good, useful starting point, and would also help students feel more supported by college when considering these decisions. I also want to hold weekly drop-in sessions to make sure that personal friendly guidance and help is easily accessible. Sorry, I'm actually quite stressed. There's more people than I thought there would be. I would also want to make sure to collaborate with other JCR reps and committees and university societies too, like Business Doctor and more, to make sure that all the members of the JCR feel like careers help and information is accessible. This would look like hosting events and promoting careers opportunities for specific students, such as postgrad Q&A for continuing the study buddy scheme alongside the international rep. I think the careers opportunities can sometimes feel restricted or inaccessible by the who do you know game, which I want to challenge and change to make sure all members of the JCR feel supported when considering careers as it's such a massive decision in life. All in all, I'm outgoing, friendly, motivated, and really, really keen. And I think I would make a great development officer this year. Thanks for your time, and remember to bleed green. Thank you.
So there's now the opportunity to ask 2 targeted questions. These are questions based on anything Rosie has said, anything in the material or manifesto. Well, not what manifesto, sorry, what she said, asked. So any questions, any targeted questions?
What kind of support do you think you'd be able to offer during your drop-in sessions?
So I think it would mainly be signposting people to the right resources, but also just looking at the alumni network to see if there's anyone else who's actually got a career that can help them. Obviously, as a student, I've done leafleting. That's kind of it. So I'd run to, but like kind of making sure that if someone wants to do, well, I don't know, like if they want to get into consulting, say, find someone in the alumni who also is who's in that career section and kind of connect them so that they can actually get real advice from the proper adult. So kind of just, be a middleman, essentially. Any other questions?
Any other non-targeted questions, general questions? Birdie.
So you mentioned the alumni relations quite a bit. How do you maintain those after the university? How do you build those relationships? Have you plans for that?
So a lot of that is just kind of asking them about their time at university. So connecting them with the things that they like. So if someone was really into the JCR, be like, the JCR is actually doing quite well at the moment. It's pretty cool people on it, I'd say. Or if they didn't like it, then there's kind of showing people change. So if someone says, hey, I didn't like my time at university because I felt that there wasn't enough student support or welfare support, say actually the university is now looking into this, college is doing this, we're really trying to get on these campaigns. And to actually reassure people that university has changed. I think it's quite a sensitive subject for some people, especially if people didn't enjoy their time at university. They're just always taking like an empathetic tone and making sure that, just kind of working with them and not trying to harass them, essentially.
Dan?
So when it comes to alumni relations, because JCR as an organisation is really, really broad, so there's a lot of different aspects that people have been involved with. And targeting the JCR as a whole and selling the JCR as a whole as an alumni drive is quite broad. How do you aim to make it a bit more niche? And how do you aim to make it a bit more personal for the alumni?
So I think definitely, like I said, like kind of just asking questions, saying, what did you enjoy at university? And going from there, because obviously, if you're not a sporty person and someone contacts you and said, hey, do you want to help out with the sports team? It's going to be like, absolutely not. Please stop calling me. But just making sure that it's targeted in that way. But I think the only way to do that really is to be curious, to ask questions, to not just send out emails to alumni that is like, please help us in like a kind of very general sense. So I think personal relationships. I don't know budget or things, but like maybe if I could get a team of people. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. So just making plans. Kind of have people help us, like doing campaigns where actually you get people who are, let's say, involved in welfare or in sports teams and get them to contact, because then you have that like personal relationship. So just personalize, essentially.
Any other questions? Brilliant. If we've got no more questions, Rosie, feel free to go and sit down. At the end of the method ones, I'll explain how to vote. Next up, we've got our tech running. Can't remember, it's tech officer or tech manager. Tech manager. And we've got 2 candidates for this. We've got Thomas and we've got reopened nominations. So Thomas, you want to come on up? 3 minutes, I'm not for 2.5. Yeah. I should know as well. So, yeah. If you get like 3 minutes, I will stand up and
Hello everyone, my name is Tom Matthews and I'm running to be your tech manager. Many of you might not know who I am. I'm a fourth year studying French, who very recently made the excellent decision to get involved in the JCR. You should too, it's great. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been prepping and getting to know some of you. I've also seen for myself what an asset the JCR is, how it creates unforgettable and enriching experiences for students, fosters a real sense of community, and offers a welcoming, inclusive, and friendly space for all. I'm deeply committed to supporting the JCR's activities and being a hardworking and committed member of the exec. And as a team leader during Freshers Week, my team and I were responsible for a very, very successful pub quiz, thanks mainly to our fabulous MCs. I also started to get to grips with the JCR's tech during this time, setting up light and sound for the evening and taking on the heavy, heavy burden of PowerPoint operator. I also set up lighting for Friday Silent Disco, and having started to get to grips with the green machine, which is the cupboard where all the tech is, I am excited, if elected, to address what I consider the greatest problems and opportunities for growth. As tech manager, I will ensure that all tech equipment is organized and operational and optimized for every event. So this would involve checking it beforehand, making sure everything works. As I found running tech for events during Freshers Week, the tech and where to find it and how to use it can be quite confusing. As tech manager, one of my first priorities would be to create an updated inventory of tech, as well as clear labeling of the green machine. I would also create an accessible step-by-step guide for using our tech so that every member of the JCR feels empowered and confident when using it. As tech manager, I would like to offer those interested in the role support and training, so helping those interested in using the tech in societies in the JCR, so as to ensure a smooth transition also for future tech manager. I think that our tech is an important asset, and as tech manager, I would work to make it a reliable source of income. So to do this, I would support and increase current efforts to rent out gear to societies and colleges in Durham, raising awareness of the services we offer and ensuring that these services are delivered to the highest possible standard. Finally, I think my most important qualification, I was considered the unofficial tech manager in my secondary school, where I helped my teacher turn on the sound when we watched YouTube. So there you are. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. You can depend on me to work closely with JCR and to make our tech profitable and easier than ever to use. Thank you.
Any questions? Targeted or general? Take any questions. Grand. No questions. Perfect. Tom, you can go and sit down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right, so our next selection is bar officer. And for this, there are 3 candidates. We've got Rue, and we've got Orla, and then we've got reopen nominations. So, Rue, would you? Oh, sorry, Orla, you're first. Orla isn't on the agenda. Our JCR chair made a mistake. So auto-bumped, I heard. Orla will have 3 minutes, as all the other candidates have. Then you can ask 2 targeted questions. Then Orla will leave. Rue will come in. Rue will speak. You can ask 2 targeted questions, and then both of them will come back in. 3 minutes, and all up to 2.5. You can shout if you want, but I thought you might want to protect your football cards.
Okay, guys.
Go whenever.
Hi, my name's Orla. If you don't recognise my face from around cups, you've definitely seen me pour a pint at the bar. I've worked on the bar since first year, so that's 7 terms, and I'm now in my 4th year. I'm very old. I've not only worked on Cups Bar, but I also work at Wetherspoons, so I have lots of experience in a bar setting, which is very useful in this job to help alongside the bar steward. One thing that I want to do for you as bar officer is work for soft drinks in the bar The non-alcoholic toad syrup that we used to use is no longer available, so I want to work alongside the bar steward in order to make this more accessible for the students in another way. Secondly, I would really like to work for events, both with music reps, fashion show, welfare, outreach, whether that's in holding a music event or holding a quiz, just anything really to get not only some access for these societies, but also for the bar. I'd also like a good relationship with societies and sports, both through using Back Bar and through Brooks for private functions. I'd like to work along the bar steward to bring business to Brooks, which ultimately needs money for the JCR. One way in which I would like to do this is through a beer festival in the final term. This is similar to other colleges, and I think it could be really good for clubs. I'd also like to create a Google form to hear from the people what we want to hear at the bar, because Cuffs Bar is the soul of the community, and I think it's really important that we are all getting our say as to what we want to happen there. Ultimately, I'd really like to be your bar officer, because Cuffs Bar is a big part of my time at Cuffs, and yeah, I'd like to just make it great for everyone. Thank you.
Correct me on this if I'm not. There are now 2 targeted questions. So if anyone would like to ask all a question based on what she said, know me?
Hi. How would you support Brooks Bar throughout the year, not just during the beer festival?
So with Brooks Bar, I'd like to work alongside both the steward and sports and societies in order to hold quizzes there, hold open mics. I know that 12 South Theatre, for example, have held a lot of comedy nights, and I think this is something, as an example, we could do in Brooks, as Bailey Bar does hold a lot of our, how do you say it? Like, we get a lot of business from other colleges, so if Brooks Bar can be a place for Cuffs and Cuff students, then I think it's a great way to just keep it alive this year.
Any other targeted questions?
I'm a big fan of you, like, taking stand at the Brooks Bar every weekend. But what happens if people just aren't keen on going to Brooks Bar? Like, people on the just don't want to take a walk there. I'm just buying into Brooks Bar being used. What happens there?
If it's not a push for Brooks Bar, which there hasn't been for the past 2 years, then it's just about moving events to the Bailey. Regardless of what happens, we still want the exposure for these societies and to raise money for charities. So if it has to happen at the Bailey, that's no problem. But just pushing for Brooks if we've got that space. And it's all about, even in the JCR and in this role, just showing like everyone that is a nice space to use. So yeah.
Brilliant. So that's our 2 targeted questions. So Dan, could you message Louise? Brilliant. Thank you. So thank you all. So for those of you who asked what JRO does, what Dan and Louise are doing at the minute is what the JRO does. That's essentially all their role is. So we'll have Rue in the role house for 3 minutes, and then 2 targeted questions, and then we'll get both back in for 3 general questions. What's your password?
What?
What's your password? I don't know.
That's next meeting.
Sorry, really awkward silence room.
I know.
Hello, my name is Rue, my pronouns are she, her. If you're a fresher, you may know me from being the gal who was like, racism, no. If you're not a fresher, you might know me from standing behind the bar and filling you some pretty atrocious pints, but we've always served with a smile, so that's good. So, some of you may not really know the role of bar officer does, so I thought I'll start with explaining it a little bit, just because it kind of sounds a bit rogue, and even if you're in second year, it might not be something you're overly familiar with. So bar officer basically, the bar, separate from the JCR, is run by college. The bar steward only really answers to college, and the JC can be nice to the JCR if they so wish. Therefore, that means the JCR doesn't really have much of a say in how the bar is run. That's where bar officer comes in, and bar officer is like the middleman. Primarily, your loyalties are with the JCR, so I answer to you guys, hopefully, if I get it. But that's kind of where the role has kind of gone wrong a little bit a lot of the time, is that people don't fully commit to the JCR portion of the role. So that's kind of where I want to come in and change that. I've been involved in the JCR since meeting 1.1 of first year, so I've been in this for a while, which comes with an amazing array of knowledge and really great relationships that I've spent years fostering. And I would really love to have all of you guys have a say on the bar. It's so sad that not everyone gets the chance to work on the bar or have a say in how it's run, but as bar officer, I would create a college version, a JCR version of the college bar committee, where JCR members could sit on it and share thoughts, comments, concerns about how the bar is run. Also, college meets once a term, I believe, about the running of the JCR, where I would be invited. I would also like to host drop-ins for people, so that way you could come, tell me your grievances about the bar, tell me what's working for you, what's not working. That way I could present them to bar steward, who would present them to the college, and we can see what happens. And then I would also provide some kind of presentation in JCR meetings, just so you know what's going on with the bar, because a lot of the time, the JCR doesn't know what's going on with the bar, which kind of makes it really hard to run events like outreach, welfare campaigns, because it's kind of guessing and there's that miscommunication. So my main goal primarily would be to kind of bridge that gap with my JCR understanding and my college understanding as well, whilst working with the bar steward who primarily works at college. And I think one of my main goals that I would really love to put forward after that is alcohol-free options. They're not great at the moment. So I think by kind of talking to people within college, I've realized that this is a real issue within our bar. And I would love to, again, get your ideas. It's your bar as well. You're the ones using it. I don't think it's fair that college has most of the say. So again, get your ideas about alcohol-free options for the bar.
3 minutes, right?
Oh, might be.
Wrap up very quickly.
You get options. But please.
Any targeted questions? Scarlett.
So who would be on the JCR bar committee?
Okay, so this is actually something I've been thinking about for a while. Who would I put on the committee? Well, when I was in welfare campaigns, no one ever knew what was going on in the bar. So a representative from welfare campaigns, representative from outreach. I would also have a sports and stock representative to liaise with society, so probably Oscar to liaise on society. What are socials that happen in the bars? A lot of the time I found last year, bar staff would be like, there's a social outside, we have no idea what's going on. And that's because there'll be a lack of communication. I'll also have a couple of elected just JCR members, just because again, so many people want to work for the bar, not everyone gets the chance. So why not run for a JCR committee where you still get a say, still get to see how the bar runs, and maybe eventually kind of take on a more established role like bar officer or maybe bar steward, because you still have that knowledge before you're employed.
One more targeted question.
Yeah,
How would you make ordering alcohol-free drinks more acceptable in the Cost community? Because we are a university, so obviously alcohol is quite pushed on you. So how do you try to use that?
I think part of that is down to bar staff. I will put my hands up and say sometimes someone has ordered an alcohol-free drink and I've just looked at them and been like, oh, I don't know if we even have that. So I think again, familiarizing the bar staff just with what's on offer, but also maybe genuinely even trying some of the alcohol-free options, because I recently started going for the alcohol-free frog. I'm a big fan of her. And that's made me more likely to say to someone, oh, we have this on offer. So again, just familiarizing bar staff mainly with what we have, but also when we give people bar tabs as prizes, maybe being oh, you can have an alcohol-free bar tab, because you hear bar tab, you automatically think I'm only going to get alcohol, which is a bit stressed. But being you can have pints and things like that, just entering alcohol-free options into the conversation more, I think would be a really good shout.
Thank you. So that's our 2 targeted questions. So we're just going to get all that back in, and then there will be 3 general questions. These cannot be targeted on material base. Anything that they've said can't be asked, but you can ask anything about general issues that involve bar officers.
Because it's a bit awkward. Baby,
Sorry, I'll take it to that. Right, so do we have any questions with maximum 3? Oscar.
So, baby bar is often crowded, and like, do you have any ideas for like making more accessible services on sports or societies?
Ola, we'll start with you.
Make it more accessible. So with the booking form, it would make it so that the society that's booked it out is priority coming in, making sure that if we've got a set time for them to arrive at the bar for opening, then that means that they would have first access, obviously. Again, opening that bar or even opening Brooks would make it even just a private event, which has worked really well previously with, for example, rugby socials. They might have thought it was a bit dead, but again, them access to the bar all night. So yeah, definitely just utilising all space, and also if they've booked, then they're definitely a priority.
I think as far as, again, you mainly answered for JCR, so I would suggest alongside the booking form, opening up that line of communication with the bar to make it, because I mean, yes, there is the form and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's clashing, but if we can at least coordinate with CUF societies through kind of JCR connections, through you as sports and sops, just generally getting to know the people, if we can open up that line of communication, it's so much easier to organise, and that way we're not relying on whether or not social sector members to sign a form. It's actually we're relying on them to kind of reach out to us, and we should hopefully have a relationship built there. But I do think the form works. It's just kind of reinforcing JCR relations, being like, we want you to have access to the bar. We're working with you. You just have to reach out to us if the form doesn't work for you or something goes wrong.
Brilliant. Next question. We'll go to Dan.
Sorry, everyone, that's not what I asked. So, bar officer is really interesting role, right? Because it's a JCR role that is taken on by a college member of staff that sits in the college committee. In the past, the relationship between JCR and bar officer has very much been like it's the bar representation on the JCR. However, by the terms of the role, it should be the JCR representation on the bar committee. How do you aim as bar officer to represent the JCR? No, what was that?
Can you mention one of your points?
Because that's literally one of my
Yeah.
manifests. Okay. So as I have said, I would have JCR style drop-ins as well as a JCR bar committee. That way, because I don't think, like I said, we are the ones using the bar, we are the ones that spend the most time there as opposed to college management. So therefore, by hosting drop-ins before college barcom meetings, it means that I, as the JCR's representative, am going and knowing what the JCR wants, not with what I think the JCR wants. And also by having a JCR barcom, again, the elected members on that committee would be free to share their share their opinions and thoughts on the bar. But generally speaking, I have spent a lot of time in the JCR and have spent a lot of time on a whole variety of committees. So I know how each one kind of wants to utilize the bar. And I would, again, give them the chance to say that to me through drop-ins, or maybe if they would like to, inviting me to sit on their committee, like welfare campaigns. If you want to plan something for November with the bar, I'll be happy to sit on welfare campaigns for that campaign, and things like that.
So similarly, I obviously spoke about a Google form. That being open on the bar Instagram all through the year makes it very easy for people to drop in suggestions, whether they are in cups, whether they're not in cups. Obviously, we are, as a JCR, working for the students, but this bar is famously one of the most popular bars in Durham, and not only do we get our money from our students, but we also get it from the wider community. So I think it's really important to have access to everyone. I do really like previously stated ideas about drop-ins, that's really good as well. But I have been sat on bar committee meetings previously, alongside the previous, am I allowed to speak about this? Yeah, alongside the previous president. It's easy to say the ideas, but with backing, but you also do have to strongly also have a bar set mind behind it, because as a college committee, we're all about like the money and what we're getting, and also the JCR, we want as much money, so next year, like subs could be lower or like anything like that. So we just need to open it to a wider community, I think, and then that can also be fed back in the meetings.
Brilliant. We've got one more question. We're going to Victoria.
Sort of adding on to Dan's point a bit, really mentioned about bar being used for events and things. We have a lot of cost-specific events in the bar, such as Feast and now Oktoberfest. How is bar manager, because you're working sort of for the bar, but equally the JCR, would you make it facilitate that relationship with cost-specific events / make it sort of more special? Like, how do you make, because the bar's really popular, but what, like, why should we use the bar for events if it's not kind of any benefits? Or like, how do we make it more special? How do we make it more exciting?
Yeah.
So obviously the bar, for one, is a free facility for us to use. That's one thing that we're not having to pay. I think I'm right in saying that. You don't have to pay for the events. But I think it could be a way for us to have, like we've done before, the drinks, the special drinks for events, even opening up new spaces. I kind of lost my train of thought here. I think we're very lucky that we have such a nice bar that everyone wants to go into. I think it's really accessible, it's really easy for events. So I think we're lucky in those senses. Just about like maybe committing to themes more, like as bar officer, we could sit in like social com and help out with decorations. I know that falls short quite often. And there's a lot of difficulty getting people to like help in that sense. So maybe it's just about bar officer and alongside like the bar steward helping out more and like getting accessibility and stuff. Don't really know if that made any sense or answered your question.
Just to clarify, you want to know how we can make the bar more special for the Cuffs events?
Yeah, like how do you facilitate that sort of events bar relationship, like make it more exciting? Because the Feast is one of the lowest turnout events in Cuffs.
Yeah.
And the majority of Feast is held in the bar. So like how would you sort of, not necessarily fix that, that's my job, but I don't know, make it more interesting.
Yeah, I think again, it all comes back to having, because I do understand that the bar is run primarily by college and it is a college thing. So there's that aspect of it. And I think college relations and JCR relations could definitely be better, which again, I think I would be quite equipped to handle this kind of dynamics, because again, through working in different committees, I've gotten to know so many people within college. And I think it would just be an extension of that. But in terms of making it more special from a JCR perspective, because that's what essentially at the end of the day, that's all we can really control. Again, is having events sitting on, having a centralized committee where we can all share ideas. If you as social com have an idea, social com would most likely also sit on JCR Barcom. But if you have an idea and it doesn't work from a bar officer or a bar point of view, having that conversation before it gets to the event and we're like, oh, it's a little bit tricky because we had that disagreement and disconnect. But if we actually, way before the event actually happens, we have those discussions and we have those like negotiations and reach a compromise that we're both excited about. If the bar is excited, the JCR is excited, I think it could be it could work very well in that we can work together to make it an exciting event because we both really believe in it, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much. So, two of you can go and sit down. Thank you. So
So our next elections are for environment rep, and we have 3 candidates running for this. So our candidate who will be hosting first is Eloise, and we also have Lily running for it. Sorry, after JCR just running. Eloise, do you want to come up and speak? Lily, if you work with Louise.
Thank you. 2.5 minutes, I'll knock. Oh, 2.5 minutes, I'll knock. Great. Yeah. Sorry, we just have Eloise, please. Thank you. Whenever you're ready.
So, hi, I'm Eloise. I'm a current 3rd year studying international relations and geography, and I'm running for your environment rep. So, first of all, I know this position has been filled for a while, so I think it's really important to restart our socials. I couldn't find an Instagram, so definitely restart that. And recognise the work completed by existing JCR societies and initiatives such as Gardening Sock. There's like university-wide initiatives like Green Move Out, which I think could definitely be promoted a lot better. And also like champion volunteering opportunities that really centre around sustainability. There's often a lot of gardening opportunities with historical gardens, which I think is really important to spread to our wider like JCR community. And then I'd probably reach out to other JCR environment reps and related societies to partner on events, such as like plant pot painting socials, which often work quite well, like when they're in conjunction around the same time, it's like SU, like plant sales, and yeah, just help to really build the outreach of the socials, which I think is the main important bit, is like circulate information. And I have pretty good relations with a fashion show and with social com. I'll definitely use these to help push sustainability as like the forefront of their aims, I guess. So for example, with fashion show, I really focus on sourcing collections from a more regional base, at least within the UK, just to cut down on emissions from postage and shipping, which I think is really important. Definitely also champion looking at our media student community. So I knew for this year, they had a student that had some sort of crochet collection, and I think that's really important to really like lift up our own local committee, local people. And then I'd also further collab with Bailey Wardrobe, which would come under Environment Committee in general, and really help with like charity formal clothes donation points. A lot of people have dresses that do not fit, and tailoring is really expensive. So maybe like get a donation sort of thing for that, again, just promote sustainability. I've worked with outreach quite a lot with Panto last year, and I think that's really important to create more like practical solutions regarding sustainability. And I'd also focus on reducing consumption, which would be more around, again, circulating information about upcycling events, about maybe like a book swap with including the library, like a book swap shelf, and helping livers out with recycling information, because it's really, really confusing. That's it.
Brilliant. Any targeted questions? Thank you, Evie.
Yes. You mentioned working with outreach. Are there any like events you haven't seen that you wanted, like kind of to collide with, or any like charities or fundraisers you want to like properly push with that environment?
I've obviously pushed for like environment-based charities. I know they did like Eastbourne Farm this year, which I guess does really align with what environment rep would go for. In terms of like specific events, obviously I did Panto last year, GCIP. I guess something like more arts and craftsy, but with like it's not really drink based, it's not like high commitment from anyone, but it really helped in 12 days of outreach to like really spread awareness of environment stock and like important issues regarding that, whether that's like tote bag painting or whatever, using existing resources that we have within JCR.
Targeted, go over there.
You mentioned working with the fashion committee to see if they can make sustainability one of their aims.
do you have any more specifics as to how they could be more sustainable?
So again, I would be looking at like where the proposals are actually being sourced from. We really want to keep it more local, whether that's like, I know last year they had people drive over like within the local like County Durham, and I think that's pretty good. You really just want to reduce like emissions for the planes and the shipping that some of it came in. Also, like Fashion Show does a lot of events where they champion put charity at the absolute forefront of them, and I think it's important that we could collab on events and really make sure the Fashion Show people were aware of the sustainability processes that Fashion Show were going through and how important they held it to their core.
Brilliant. Bamford, do you want a JRO?
Yeah.
Will you go and get Lily, please? Thank you very much, Eloise. You can go out and do it. CS. Yes. Bamford, you'd make a great JRO if you weren't librarian. You'll have 2.5. You'll have 3 minutes. I'll knock at 2.5. Brilliant. Oh, whenever you're ready. Well, 5 minutes. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Off you go.
Hey everyone, pleasure to be speaking to you tonight. My name is Lily Morgan and I'll be running as an environment representative. So a bit about me and why I want the role. I was fortunate enough to be raised by a mother who truly cared about nurturing the world that we live in. So she has shown me how to be kind to the earth, and I am now someone who's passionate about educating others on the benefits that making simple and sustainable changes to their lifestyle will have on the environment that they live in. So if elected, I would aim to encourage the biodiversity in the woodland areas surrounding Parsons Field by hanging out bird boxes and feeders on the trees around it and getting people on the environment committee to go and fill those up. So students lucky enough to have a view of the forest from their windows will get the added bonus of being able to enjoy the sight of the birds, enjoying their beautiful natural habitats. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those students. I've got a view of the roof. Furthermore, this will hopefully create a stronger link between us and the Durham locals, as it will attract more wildlife for them to admire on their daily walks. I also aim to avoid the risk of our recycling bins being contaminated with general waste and ending up in the landfill. Most of us can probably relate to the awkwardness of having to tell our flatmates that doesn't go in that bin, that doesn't recycle, and it's really awkward. Or maybe you are the flatmate that puts stuff in the recycling bin when it's not supposed to go there. But I aim to do this by making the posters that are hung above the bins a bit more informative. So by making them pictures instead of words, because no one reads them. And then it will be so much easier for people to know what can and can't be recycled in our area. And then lastly, I would love to reduce the pollution of our local waterways by replacing all the cleaning chemicals used by the college with an environmentally conscious alternative. For example, Chem Eco, which is a brand who don't use any substances such as chlorine and phosphates in their products, as when these contaminate our waterways, they kill pretty much all the aquatic life, as well as lead to a massive increase in eutrophication. So having been employed by a conservation charity for the last 8 months, I've seen firsthand the actions which can be taken to make an organisation more sustainable. I'm confident in my ability to educate other members of our college on issues surrounding the environment and steps that we can take to try and solve these issues. I'm someone who enjoys working with people and gathering different ideas and opinions on a topic, because I believe this is the best way to come to a fair outcome. Therefore, if elected, I look forward to participating in meetings and working with the wider JCR. I'm aware that this position will be a big commitment, but it means more to me than just something to put on the CV. Throughout recent years, I've volunteered for the Green Party candidate in my local area, and thanks to this, I've been inspired to take a more active role in politics. In my opinion, this position will be the best place to start. I can promise you all that I will take it seriously and put all my effort into doing what is best for the environment.
Sorry, that's 3 minutes.
Because I really want to. Thank you very much.
Any targeted questions? Any targeted questions? 30.
So you mentioned that you plan like Chem Eco. Do you worry that there'll be financial aspects which has to
There could be, yeah. Obviously, I don't know what's used currently. I don't know how much more expensive it's going to be. But I know that it's used, so in the National Trust, it's a charity. So I believe that like us is also a bit of a charity. So the funds will probably be organised in the same way a little bit. So there might be financial implications, but we could introduce it slowly, such as like the stuff like rinse aid, the anti-bac, like washing up liquid. You could just replace maybe one, and even that would have a better effect than having like such toxic chemicals like going all the time. If that makes sense.
Grant, any other questions? Alex.
You mentioned about putting in those things like bird boxes or delivery questions. How would what would be your process to actually implement these features? Like, would it be through like getting like a group of people to a sort of workshop thing, or would it be like just yourself, or like buying them online? What would be the process for actually getting those things?
So I feel like it would probably be my job to like find out where we can put them, what kind of boxes and feeds we can put, but then hopefully with an environment rep, we can start to build a bit of a committee, and people will want, people do care about the environment. Environmental anxiety is something that's like really increasing, especially amongst young people, and I know that there are people that will care, so I have it as my job, but also if people want to, they can come like help me for the bird feeders, like stuff like that. But yeah, or like we could do, if you come help us hang up the bird boxes, you can get a free drink at the bar. Maybe then some people will come along, I don't know.
Brilliant, thank you. We'll just wait for Eloise to come back in and then we'll have general questions. Sorry, this is why we need JROs. So if you want to run for JRO, please run later on. Yes, please. I've just messaged group chat, sorry. I heard something about.
You should just shout it.
Oh, my voice doesn't have to carry at the minute. Right. So, any general questions? We'll start with Eloise on these as well, or for this one. Ralph?
How would you work to make students care more about the environment and their impact on it?
And then what?
And their impact.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm definitely, again, like circulating more social media information about environmental impact, like personally. Durham's already a pretty walkable city, and people I would not advocate for bikes because I didn't want to ride one here. But again, back to the recycling point, I really do think a lot of livers out don't understand recycling bins and what is and isn't allowed in them. And I really think we need to like make that as a point. Like from a lot of people I talk to, that was a problem. So yeah, I'll probably focus on the recycling aspect of it, and again push the green move out scheme. So when livers out are leaving, or like freshers that are in their dorms, to be like, you don't just need to chuck stuff away, don't just leave stuff in your rooms, do use these bags that are available. And yeah, like reuse, recycle your stuff, and contribute to the wider cups community with it.
Yeah, so I think like education is probably one of the most important ways to get people to care. Like I went to a state school, like state college, like no one is educating you about the environment. Like I said, I learned pretty much all of it from my mum. If I didn't have her, I probably wouldn't know half the stuff. So I think it's really important, maybe holding like workshops like we did for the consent and race. Obviously they're both really important issues, but I feel like caring about the environment is also one. I think people, when they see and when they understand and when they know the facts of what is happening, they get like scared and they start to care. And when I, speak to people, I've been, nagging people to recycle their stuff, and I'm like, you do realise what happens with that? And they're like, well, not really. I'm like, well, no, you do. I've seen them start to care, start to actually think about it. So yeah, I think that education, maybe like the workshops, you're so right, spreading stuff on social media and stuff would be such a good way to get people like involved.
Any other questions? George, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah. being a like both catered and self-catered college, food wastage becomes quite a big problem in college. We're already on Too Good to Go, but we still have quite a lot of like wastage food that goes out. Have you got anything to like shorten that food wastage or have an impact that might be beneficial to the college?
So I'm not quite sure like how it actually all works because I'm not at all catered. I don't know if people like help themselves and stuff like that, but I think maybe if people like there were, you know, people serving, so people don't take more than they like are going to eat first of all, and then you can always come back for seconds. But like, I think it's very difficult to predict what people are and are not going to eat. But I mean, since the college has been running for so many years, like we should be better at knowing like how much food to put on and how much we will actually need for the number of students. Maybe like, because I know that some students who are catered or on the meal plan might one day decide that they like want a takeaway or something. So maybe there's something that can be done to know how many students are actually going to be there for that meal, and then cook like enough food for them specifically.
So I'd probably say, having been catered, although they do serve you obviously half it, and you serve yourself kind of like the other half, I kind of would argue that you need to be fully serving it yourself. Obviously they can check how many portions, like you're not taking crazy amounts, but I often get way too much food on my plate and then I just won't eat it. Whereas some people absolutely just would rather double portions, and that's like kind of fine. Just like eat, like I'd rather have on my plate what I'm going to eat as opposed to literally just have to throw away at the end. So I'd probably say for that, I know they do have some sort of sign-up sheets sometimes for early dinners, and I definitely probably continue to better promote the packed lunches if you go to breakfast, because I just did not know about that until like second term, and maybe it was my lack of turning up to breakfast, but I think definitely if you promote that, it can reduce further food waste, like at colleges, not colleges, at in the library, for example, and like further around university. Yeah, that's what I say.
Any other questions? Harry.
What is your favourite plant?
Great question.
Okay, so I would say an aloe vera. I did have one. I bought from SU Plants down first year. It was a really rough day. It has since died over summer. It's pretty dead at the moment in my house. But I do have an aloe vera jelly cat that isn't obviously somewhat alive. So I'd say an aloe vera. Very limited maintenance needed, unless you leave it over your house for summer.
I'm a bit biased because my name's Lily, so I'd probably just say Lily and be boring.
Sorry, Joey. What? One more question then.
Like sports societies use a lot of sports equipment. Have you got anything to like combat rebuying like new equipment? Obviously, we do have stuff left over, but with it's now been used for so many years. Have you got anything in place like instead of buying new equipment that could be like obviously damage or like not beneficial to the environment? Have you got anything put in place that can like support sports societies to one get cheaper equipment and two there'll be less damage on the environment?
Yeah, so I think like not specific equipment, but like the jerseys and stuff that people wear, taking the initials off so that they can then be like handed down. Because having like, I don't know, so many new like jerseys, track bottoms, hoodies, everything for every single sport society every single year is like so wasteful in my opinion. We don't need that. I think like if you're a part of it, you can have it, then send it on to the next people coming through. Equipment wise, once it's getting a bit old for maybe like the DU or stuff like that, donate it. Schools are always needing sports equipment like all the time. I remember like, yeah, my school, we always needed equipment. Like we had like our netball hoops and nets were like hanging off. We didn't even have any. So definitely, if you can then donate it to schools, and it helps clear some space for the sports and societies to get like buy more in stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly, you kind of said what I was going to say. Yeah, my school had definitely appreciated more donated sports equipment. That wasn't like again like in top absolute form, but like my school was doing barely any PE lessons. Like they did not need that top quality equipment. So I say, yeah, definitely, maybe if it doesn't already exist, a donation point for current students who are looking to upgrade their equipment, so it can be recycled back through the college and through the students. Yeah, I guess that's the most you can do, really. If you're going to buy something, maybe don't, instead of just trashing something that's absolutely unusable, just reusing it and seeing someone else with better use for it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you said.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. You're free to sit down.
Right, one more house, and then we'll have a quick toilet break. Our last bit for now is our music rep, I think it's the term, and we have two candidates running for this. We've got Chloe and we've got Rio for nominations or Ron. So Chloe, if you want to come on up. 3 minutes.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe Zander. I use she, her pronouns. You might know me as my sister's legacy. It's definitely possible. You might know me as a random fresher that you've seen around, or you might just not know me at all. Fair enough. So I am a first year student. I'm doing combined honours in social sciences. And I'm running for music rep because last week, well, over the course of this week, I wanted to go use the music room and I realised that we didn't have a music rep yet to give inductions. So I thought, well, if no one's going to do it, might as well put myself forward. Which did lead to the fun realisation that it was in fact a Method 1 position. So here I am. In terms of what I would do, I'd like to make sure that all the musical equipment is up to date, make sure that I don't know if there are any pianists in the room, but when the piano's out of tune, that's definitely a bit hard on the ears, so just make sure that it's tuned at least semi-regularly. Make sure that the guitar and bass and general string instruments are all in top shape. This and that, I mean, yeah. Continue, apparently, the old music rep had a registry almost of everything that was in the music room, which I think is an amazing idea. So I would just keep doing that. I'd also love to liaise kind of with other JCR committees and this and that to make sure that any musicians in CUS have the opportunity to be heard, whether that's perhaps in the bar doing playing with their band in the bar if they've got a band, doing an open mic night, or whether that's at our formals and balls to have people do some music there for everyone to enjoy. Also, if there are no bands wishing to play, I would probably do my best to find other bands in Durham because it's always nice to have a bit of live music. So for the formals and other events, just to add a bit of spice, really. Yeah, I'd really just want to be the liaison for all the musicians because myself, I play a few instruments. I've been in lots of bands. And it's always a bit hard to find venues, to find the opportunity to play, to show off one's skills, so to speak. So I'd like to facilitate that. In terms of experience, as I said, I've been in bands, I played a few instruments. I was a music teacher for a year. That's about it, really, yeah. Just really want to make CUS music great, really.
Any questions? Thea.
So you spoke about reaching out to different bands and different people to get them involved. What would be your ideal event to get more people involved?
Ideally, it would either be perhaps an open mic night at the bar, so that more musicians themselves or singers, and also people just wanting to have a good time can, just have a little sing. Otherwise, having bands play in the bar because I always enjoy playing in bars.
You mentioned your struggles getting into the music room as a fresher this year. How would you make sure that there's not a similar situation?
Next year, well, if a music representative was elected for next year, by the end of this year, I would liaise with them, kind of show them the ropes, make sure that they know what's going on. And if there wasn't one, then next year I would come in early to give the freshers little inductions, if possible, to make sure that people can use the music rooms.
Any other questions? Brilliant. You're free to sit down. Thank you very much. So, all the last five roles are voted via method 1. So you will vote for them on cuts.com/vote. This vote will provisionally be open from tomorrow evening Tuesday morning at 00:0001 until 48 hours. Thursday evening at 23:59 due to a couple of technical issues. All of this will get posted on the JCR elections page and should get reposted by Cuts JCR. So whenever the vote's open, you'll find it. We're going to take a very quick 5 to 7 minute drink break. And I will be restarting the rest of the elections at 10 o'clock sharp. Don't be late. Sorry, George.
No, it wasn't even karaoke.
It's